God says, "My child, they tried to hide the truth about this baby, but I will not allow lies to stand where innocence cries out for justice." Listen carefully, for what I am about to show you is not just a story, it is a revelation of love, protection, and the power of truth breaking through shadows. You may feel the heaviness around this situation, the fear, the secrecy, the whispers that try to convince you to look away. But I tell you, the moment has come to open your heart and see clearly. This baby, my child, has a life that is precious beyond measure. From the very first breath, I placed protection over this soul. And yet, there are those who fear the light that truth brings. They weave stories, they manipulate, they hide what is pure and vulnerable. But no scheme can overcome what I have destined, no darkness can prevail where my light shines. The moment has arrived for you to witness what has been hidden, to feel the truth that pulses like a heartbeat beneath the surface. You may not understand now why secrecy has surrounded this child. You may wonder why lies were allowed to continue for even a single day. But know this, my child, everything unfolds in my timing, and I have allowed these shadows to test the hearts of those involved. I have allowed the trials so that the revelation will shine even brighter, so that when the truth is finally known, it will bring clarity, relief, and a holy recognition that I, God, have been watching, protecting, guiding every step of the way. There is a fear that surrounds this story, a quiet terror in the hearts of those who tried to hide it. You can feel it, can't you? The tension in their steps, the hesitation in their words, the desperate attempts to control what is beyond them. And yet, the innocence of this child cannot be silenced. No power on earth, no whisper of deception, no denial can erase what I have ordained. This baby's life is a testament to my promise, that the pure will always rise, that truth will always find its voice, that light will pierce even the darkest attempts at concealment. I see your heart, my child, and I know you ache for the truth. You may feel frustration, confusion, or even helplessness. But I assure you, every moment of waiting, every tear shed in uncertainty, is preparing you to receive the revelation fully, to stand in the light of understanding without fear. The truth about this baby is not just a matter of circumstance, it is a divine alignment, a confirmation of my protection, a miracle in motion. The very breath of this child carries my presence, my watchful care, and my unending love. Do not allow doubt to cloud your vision, my child. The forces of deception are strong, but they cannot stand against the power of divine revelation. Already, signs are appearing. Already, moments of clarity are reaching your mind and spirit, preparing you to recognize the truth when it is unveiled. You may notice coincidences, unexpected messages, sudden feelings, or glimpses of understanding that seem to come from nowhere. These are my whispers, guiding you, confirming that what has been hidden cannot remain hidden any longer. This is not a story of punishment, but of awakening. It is not a tale of despair, but a movement toward justice and protection. The baby whose life was sought to be hidden, whose innocence was threatened by secrecy, is now at the center of a divine plan that no human interference can alter. I, God, have placed angels, guardians, and unseen forces to shield, to guide, and to ensure that truth prevails. And now, the moment has come to open your eyes, to see beyond the surface, to understand the depth of what has been protected and the intensity of what must be revealed. I am preparing you, my child, because the journey ahead is not simple. The revelations will bring shock, they may bring sorrow, they will demand courage. But they will also bring clarity, healing, and a deep recognition of my presence in every hidden corner of life. The baby you will soon learn about is not just a child, this life is a symbol of hope, a beacon of resilience, and a reminder that no darkness, no matter how carefully constructed, can outshine my light. So listen closely, my child. Pay attention to every sign, every intuition, every moment of sudden understanding that seems to pierce the veil of secrecy. You are being prepared to witness the unfolding of truth, to see the beauty of protection, to understand that even when humans fail, I do not. The baby's life has been a miracle from the start, and though attempts were made to hide it, those attempts have only made the eventual revelation stronger, more undeniable, more filled with the recognition of my love and my justice. Take a deep breath, my child, and open your heart fully. The truth is coming, and it will not be stopped. Prepare to feel the weight of secrecy lifted, to see the innocence protected, to recognize the divine orchestration in every detail of this child's life. And as you watch, as you feel, as you awaken to the reality of what has been hidden, remember this: I am with you. I am with the child. I am the hand that guides, the voice that protects, and the light that exposes every hidden thing. The moment has come. The truth will be revealed. The baby's life, the story that has been kept in shadows, is about to emerge into the light. And you, my child, are chosen to witness, to understand, and to carry this revelation with faith, courage, and unwavering love. No longer will there be secrecy. No longer will lies prevail. I, God, have said, no more secrets. The truth had been covered like a wound under layers of fabric, hidden so deeply that even those who once spoke of love began to forget what honesty felt like. The silence grew heavy, and in that silence, fear began to speak. They told themselves that lies would keep them safe, that covering the truth would protect reputations, emotions, and lives. But what they forgot, my child, is that nothing hidden from light can truly remain alive. Every lie begins to decay, and with every heartbeat of that innocent baby, the hidden truth trembled, waiting for the right moment to rise. The people involved thought they were clever. They whispered in corners, destroyed evidence, changed words, twisted stories, but heaven had already recorded everything. The angels stood witness to every act, every secret conversation, every trembling decision made in fear instead of faith. And while they tried to bury what was pure, I, the Lord, was watching. My eyes never closed, my ears never turned away. I allowed their plans to unfold only so that when the time came, the exposure would be undeniable, not through human effort, but by divine design. You see, my child, deception always carries a heavy price. Those who choose to hide truth for selfish gain end up trapped in their own darkness. They may appear powerful for a while, controlling the narrative, silencing voices, but deep inside, their hearts lose peace. Sleep becomes restless. Their eyes grow haunted. For the spirit knows what it has done, and guilt cannot stay buried forever. There were nights when they sat alone, whispering to themselves that what they did was right, and yet, their souls trembled, because the innocent cries of that baby echoed through the spiritual realm, reaching my throne. I heard those cries, my child. I heard them before the world did. The pain of innocence is something I never ignore. Every tear that falls unjustly, every secret that tries to suffocate purity, calls out to me like thunder in the heavens. And so, I began to move quietly, not through anger, but through divine justice. I began to send signs. One person's heart began to feel uneasy. Another started having dreams they could not explain. Situations began aligning, small coincidences that seemed random but were not. It was me. It was always me. Gently shaking the ground beneath their lies, loosening the soil around the buried truth, preparing the moment when it would break free. The baby, small and unaware of the chaos surrounding its existence, carried a light that even darkness feared. For I had placed my breath within this child. Each smile carried divine energy, each heartbeat whispered destiny. No matter how much they tried to hide the truth, this light shone through. It touched those who came near, stirred emotions in those who crossed paths, and awakened compassion in hearts that didn't even know why they cared so deeply. That, my child, is how I work, silently, powerfully, through love that cannot be contained. You must understand, the battle was not merely of flesh and words, it was spiritual. The enemy wanted to silence the birth of something sacred, to twist the story before it even began. But I, the Lord, had already written a different ending. For every lie they spoke, I planted a truth that would grow stronger. For every attempt to hide, I sent someone curious, someone bold enough to question. And now, the walls of deceit are trembling. The people who once walked in arrogance are beginning to fear their own reflections, for the truth they hid is now chasing them, step by step, breath by breath. Sometimes, my child, I allow deceit to last just long enough for hearts to reveal themselves. For the moment of exposure is not just about truth being told, it is about showing the world who chose love, who chose fear, who stood silent, and who stood brave. Every heart involved is being tested, every soul being weighed in the balance. But I assure you, the innocent will not suffer forever. The truth about this baby will come out, and when it does, healing will follow. Even now, behind the scenes, hearts are being stirred. Someone who once stayed silent will soon speak. Someone burdened by guilt will confess. Someone who once helped hide the truth will no longer find peace in the darkness. My spirit is moving among them like a whisper that cannot be silenced, like wind that breaks through locked doors. And when my timing aligns, the truth will stand before all, radiant and undeniable. You might not see everything yet, but feel it, my child. Feel the shift in the air, the uneasiness in those who tried to hide what was mine. Truth is not approaching quietly anymore, it is roaring. It is breaking chains, it is confronting lies, it is awakening every soul who has been asleep. The baby's light, once smothered by fear, is beginning to glow stronger. That glow is my presence. That glow is my justice. That glow is the beginning of freedom. And to you, my beloved, I say, do not fear the revelation that is coming. It may bring shock, it may bring tears, but it will also bring peace. You will see that I have been protecting this life all along. You will understand that even the lies were turned into pathways for truth to rise. What they meant for harm, I am turning into healing. What they tried to destroy, I am transforming into testimony. Stay close to me, my child. Keep your heart gentle but strong. For soon you will see the power of my hand expose everything that was buried in darkness. You will see that no human power can erase what heaven has chosen to reveal. The baby's story will no longer be hidden, because I, God, have said no more secrets. The truth is already unfolding, one piece at a time, through hearts that can no longer stay silent, through moments that seem coincidental but are divine. And as the truth rises, those who tried to hide it will face themselves, not before men, but before me. For I am the beginning and the end, the one who defends the innocent and brings every hidden thing into the light. The days began to shift quietly, almost unnoticeably at first. What once seemed ordinary started to feel heavy with meaning, as if time itself had slowed down to prepare the heart for revelation. You could sense it, couldn't you, my child? That strange feeling that something was about to surface, something long buried, something that heaven refused to keep hidden any longer. It began with small signs. A song that played at the perfect moment, a name whispered in your spirit, a sudden chill when a lie was spoken nearby. These were not coincidences, they were signals from heaven, gentle ripples that began to move across the still waters of silence. For when I, God, decide to reveal the truth, I do not shout from the mountains, I begin with whispers that touch the soul, guiding it to look closer, to feel deeper, to trust what cannot yet be seen. Someone began to dream about a child, a face, innocent and bright, appearing night after night, eyes wide with knowing. Another person kept hearing a baby's cry in places where there was no child at all. These were not illusions, they were echoes of a truth trying to find its way into the world. Angels were moving through the unseen, stirring hearts, preparing witnesses, aligning every piece of destiny so that when the truth came, it could no longer be denied. The baby, though small and unaware of the storm surrounding its life, was wrapped in my divine light. Every breath was a declaration of my protection. Every heartbeat carried the sound of my promise, this child will not be hidden forever. Those who tried to conceal its existence did not understand that they were working against the will of heaven. For I had already marked this life with purpose, and purpose cannot be silenced. You see, my child, every soul is born with a divine vibration, a frequency that cannot be duplicated or destroyed. This baby's vibration is one of healing, one that brings light to those who have been broken. That is why darkness feared it. That is why lies were created to cover it. But I, your God, do not allow what is meant to heal the world to be buried under deception. I began to awaken the hearts of those connected to this story, calling them back toward truth through dreams, emotions, and spiritual encounters. One woman began to feel a pull in her heart every time she prayed, as though someone unseen was calling her name. Another person, who once agreed to keep quiet, could no longer find peace. Their mind replayed moments over and over, the day they stayed silent, the words they didn't say, the truth they helped hide. My spirit began to move through them like wind through dry branches, shaking everything that was still. Their hands trembled when they remembered. Their chest tightened when they tried to sleep. It was not guilt alone, it was conviction. For once I move within a soul, silence becomes impossible. And through all this, my child, you were being prepared too. You began to notice things, moments that felt too perfect to be chance. People mentioning something and then stopping themselves, the flicker of emotion in someone's eyes, the strange heaviness that filled a room when certain words were spoken. You thought it was just your imagination, but no, it was your spirit awakening to my signals. You are part of this revelation. You were chosen to carry light into this situation, to help bring clarity where confusion once reigned. The truth about this baby is beginning to travel, my child. It moves like wind through cracks, unstoppable, unseen, yet powerful enough to change everything it touches. The same people who once hid it are now being confronted by their own conscience. Secrets no longer feel safe inside them, they feel like fire burning in their bones. They open their mouths to lie again, but the words tremble and die before leaving their lips. My presence is pressing on them, my angels surrounding them, and the truth they buried is now speaking through their own discomfort. Do you see what I am doing, my child? I am not bringing destruction, I am bringing correction. I am not punishing, I am purifying. For I am a God of mercy and truth. I bring light not to shame, but to heal. And when truth emerges, it brings freedom, not only for the innocent but for the ones who tried to hide it too. Because deception is a prison, and only truth can open its doors. There is a divine order to everything happening right now. The baby's existence carries lessons not just for those who hid it, but for everyone touched by this revelation. I am teaching hearts what honesty means, what love truly costs, and how my justice unfolds, not in haste, but in perfect time. You may feel tension in the air, as though something sacred is about to be revealed. That is because it is. The veil is thinning, the spiritual and physical worlds are aligning, and soon, what was done in secret will echo loudly across every soul connected to it. Even now, the baby feels the shift. Though unable to speak, this child's spirit senses the lifting of darkness, the release of hidden energy. The angels surrounding the child are rejoicing quietly, singing songs of freedom and restoration. They know what is coming. They have seen my plan, a plan of redemption, of exposure not meant to harm but to heal. Every lie that once hovered like smoke is now being blown away by the winds of truth. And you, my child, are called to stand in the midst of this awakening, not with fear, but with faith. Trust that what I am revealing is not to destroy lives, but to free them. You will see tears, yes. You will see regret. But you will also see forgiveness, growth, and renewal. The truth about this baby will open hearts that were closed, bring families back together, and awaken love where bitterness once lived. Remember this: when I begin something, I finish it. When I speak light into a situation, darkness has no place left to hide. The truth is unfolding even as you read these words. Conversations are being had. Secrets are trembling. Dreams are becoming clearer. Soon, the revelation will be complete, and when it comes, it will feel both shocking and divine, like thunder followed by peace. So, hold on to hope, my child. Watch with faith-filled eyes. For the truth is not coming, it is already here. It moves through the hearts of those involved, reshaping destiny, lifting the innocent, and healing the broken. The baby, once hidden, is now surrounded by divine protection, and its life will shine like a testimony for generations to come. What was done in darkness will be healed in light. And every secret that tried to suffocate love will now become a story of divine victory. The hour of revelation had come quietly, like the first light before dawn. No thunder, no alarm, just a gentle breaking of silence that had lasted far too long. Those who once felt comfortable behind their walls of deceit began to feel the walls closing in. What they thought would never be known began to surface, one detail after another, guided not by human hands but by my divine will. The truth that was hidden about this baby had begun to breathe again, and once truth takes its first breath, nothing can silence it. The conversations they feared began to happen. Names were mentioned, memories resurfaced, and the very lies they had built their lives upon began to tremble like sand under waves. The one who had sworn to keep quiet found tears streaming down their face, unable to carry the burden any longer. The one who believed the secret was buried forever suddenly felt the weight of conviction pressing on their chest, stealing their sleep and peace. My spirit was moving through them, unrelenting yet merciful, whispering in their conscience, "You must speak now. You must set the truth free." And then, it happened, a moment so simple, yet so sacred that heaven paused to witness. The truth was spoken aloud. A trembling voice, cracked by emotion, finally admitted what was hidden. The air grew heavy as words long buried came rushing out, and though pain filled the room, light followed close behind. The baby, innocent and pure, was finally brought into the light of truth. What was hidden was no longer hidden. What was denied was finally acknowledged. There were tears, my child, tears of sorrow, of shock, of regret. But among them flowed something even more powerful, relief. For when truth emerges, it breaks chains you didn't even know were holding you. The lies that once seemed necessary began to look small and empty against the vastness of my mercy. Every heart in that moment felt my presence, some in trembling, some in awe. For I, the Lord, had been there all along, waiting patiently for the right moment, the moment when revelation would bring healing instead of harm. The child, unaware of the storm that surrounded its name, smiled. That smile was no coincidence, it was heaven's response. For when truth and innocence meet, the universe shifts. Angels rejoiced in quiet triumph, for they had fought tirelessly for this very moment. Every whisper of deceit, every shadow of confusion, every force that tried to bury what was pure, was now defeated by my light. You see, my child, the truth does not come to destroy, it comes to cleanse. It washes away the darkness that clings to hearts and renews what has been broken. And though it often arrives with pain, that pain is holy, for it births freedom. The people who once hid the truth began to see themselves clearly for the first time. They wept, not only for what they had done but for how far they had drifted from love. Yet even in their tears, I was there, holding them, reminding them that forgiveness still lived within their reach. Forgiveness, my child, is the final step of revelation. For once the truth is spoken, healing must follow. I do not expose hearts to leave them wounded, I reveal them to rebuild them. I restore what lies tried to destroy. And so, one by one, hearts began to soften. Conversations once filled with anger turned into prayers. Regret became repentance. And in the midst of it all, the baby's presence became a symbol of grace, proof that innocence can survive deceit, proof that love can triumph over fear. The moment truth was acknowledged, the atmosphere shifted. You could feel it, the tension lifted, the heaviness dissolved, and peace, fragile at first, began to fill the spaces that secrets once occupied. The very house that held silence for so long now echoed with honesty. People who had avoided each other began to face one another again. The eyes that once turned away now met in understanding. This was not human reconciliation alone, this was my spirit mending what sin had torn apart. And you, my child, who watched all of this unfold, began to understand something deeper, that truth, no matter how painful, is always sacred. You saw how I used even the darkest decisions to create a path toward light. You felt how I turned guilt into awakening, how I transformed confusion into clarity. What was once a tangle of lies became a story of redemption. The baby's life, once hidden, now stood as a testimony, a living reminder that nothing can stay buried forever when I have spoken no more secrets. But even as healing began, there were hearts still wrestling. Some struggled to accept their mistakes, some feared judgment, others couldn't believe that I could still love them after everything. And to those hearts, I whispered gently, yes, I still love you. Yes, you are forgiven. For my mercy does not end when truth is revealed, it begins there. My forgiveness flows most powerfully where honesty has broken pride. As the days passed, my child, something beautiful began to unfold. The baby, once at the center of secrecy, became the center of light. People began to see the child not as a burden or mistake, but as a blessing. The laughter of the baby filled spaces that once echoed with whispers of fear. That laughter was my promise, that joy will always return after truth. I want you to remember this, my beloved, revelation is not meant to destroy lives, but to rebuild them in truth. Those who once hid the truth now walk with humility. Those who once suffered in silence now walk in freedom. And the baby, once hidden, now grows under my protection, surrounded by love, destined to carry a story that will remind the world that nothing can stay in darkness forever. Look closely, my child, this is what divine justice looks like. It is not always loud or harsh. Sometimes it comes softly, through tears, through trembling voices, through quiet confessions that change everything. I am not a God of chaos, I am a God of divine order. What I reveal, I redeem. What I expose, I heal. And every soul connected to this baby's truth will now walk a path of transformation. So, breathe deeply and rest your heart. The truth has surfaced. The lies have fallen. The light has taken its rightful place. This baby, whose life they tried to hide, now stands as a mirror of my promise, that innocence will always be protected, that truth will always rise, and that love will always win. The storm had passed. The air that once felt heavy with secrets was now calm, clear, and filled with something sacred, peace. The truth had been spoken, and in that truth, everything began to heal. You could feel it in the way hearts began to soften, in the way conversations grew gentler, in the way silence no longer felt suffocating but sacred. For where lies once ruled, my light now lived. I, the Lord, had watched every tear fall, every confession tremble, every heart that broke open under the weight of truth. And now, my child, I was weaving everything together again, not as it once was, but as it was meant to be. This is the beauty of my plan: I never waste pain. I never let truth destroy what can still be redeemed. Every wound, every heartbreak, every secret that once hurt you is now being turned into light. The baby, once hidden, was now free, not only in body but in spirit. Surrounded by love, the child grew under my divine covering. Laughter began to fill the spaces that were once haunted by fear. Every smile became a prayer answered. Every small heartbeat echoed my promise: what was hidden in darkness will always bloom in light. Angels continued to watch closely, their wings forming an invisible shield around this little one, ensuring that no harm, no shadow, no whisper of deceit would ever touch this child again. And those who once hid the truth, they, too, were changing. Some found it hard to face themselves, but I did not leave them in guilt. I took their regret and turned it into awakening. I showed them that even after the greatest mistake, redemption is possible. They began to rebuild their lives, one humble step at a time, guided by faith instead of fear. For the moment they chose truth, I chose mercy. The moment they confessed, I covered them with grace. You see, my child, this was never only about a secret. It was about hearts learning to return to love. It was about showing that truth and compassion can exist together. It was about the breaking and the healing that happens when light finally enters the darkest places. The baby's life was the vessel I used, innocent, pure, untouched by deceit, to bring every soul involved back to what matters most: love, honesty, and divine purpose. Now everything feels different, doesn't it? The air feels lighter, the days feel brighter, and the heaviness in your spirit has lifted. That is what truth does: it cleanses. You no longer walk in confusion, you walk in clarity. The people who were once divided by lies now share a single thread of truth connecting them, binding their hearts to one another again through forgiveness. The very thing that once seemed like destruction has become a door to restoration. I want you to understand, my beloved, that my justice is not meant to bring fear, it is meant to bring peace. When I expose what was hidden, I do so with love, because truth is not the end of a story, it is the beginning of healing. I allowed this revelation not to punish, but to free every soul that was trapped in secrecy. And now, I have made everything new. There will still be moments when memories sting, when the past whispers its guilt. But remember this: I, your God, have already washed it clean. What was broken has been mended. What was lost has been found. What was hidden has been revealed and healed. The baby, whose life began in shadows, now lives as a beacon of my grace, a living proof that my love can restore even the most hidden wounds. And you, my child, who have witnessed this journey, have also been transformed. You have learned what it means to trust divine timing. You have seen that when the world hides truth, heaven reveals it. You have felt how my hand moves quietly, patiently, until the right moment comes to bring light to every dark corner. You have become stronger, wiser, and softer all at once. The faith you carry now is deeper than before, not built on comfort, but on conviction. Now, I call you to rest. Let your heart breathe in peace. Let go of every remnant of fear or doubt. Know that you stood in the light when it mattered most. You did not look away when truth was revealed. You faced it with courage, and because of that, blessings are being released over your life. The same light that exposed lies will now guide you toward abundance, purpose, and divine favor. From this day forward, everything connected to this truth will blossom. The baby will grow surrounded by love, carrying my blessing and protection. The ones who were lost in deceit will find their way home to me. And you, my child, will walk in a season of grace so powerful that even the pain of the past will feel like distant rain, washed away by sunlight. I am setting a new path before you, one filled with peace that cannot be shaken, joy that cannot be stolen, and truth that cannot be hidden. The storm has ended. The night has passed. The dawn has come, and my light will never fade again. So, lift your head, my beloved. Look at the miracle I have done. From secrecy to truth. From pain to peace. From shadows to light. The baby's story will live on as a testimony, not of shame, but of divine mercy. And every time you see that child smile, you will remember this truth: what they tried to hide, I used to heal. What they tried to bury, I raised in beauty. I bless you now, my child. I bless your heart with peace. I bless your home with truth. I bless your spirit with strength. May every day ahead be filled with the light of honesty, the warmth of love, and the security of my presence. No more fear. No more pain. No more secrets. Only truth. Only love. Only grace. Go in peace, my child, for everything that was once hidden has now been redeemed by my hand. Even after the truth had been revealed, my child, the ripples of its power continued to move. Sometimes, the greatest revelations do not end with a single moment, they unfold slowly, like sunlight spreading across a darkened room. Hearts that once trembled in fear now began to expand in ways they had never known. Some hearts, hardened by years of secrecy, were softened, trembling under the warmth of compassion. Others, who had remained silent, now found their courage awakened, ready to walk in honesty and light. The baby, small yet radiant, became a living symbol of hope and restoration. Even those who had tried to cover the truth could not help but notice the purity surrounding this child. It was as if the very air responded to the innocence and light that the baby carried. Every movement, every glance, every tiny laugh spoke louder than words, a reminder that no darkness, no matter how carefully hidden, can overpower what is pure and protected by heaven. I want you to understand, my beloved, that every life I protect has a purpose, and every child is a vessel of hope. The lies that once sought to suffocate this baby now seemed insignificant against the vastness of divine truth. Every secret, every whisper, every shadow of fear that hovered over this family and every soul involved was being transformed into light. My angels circled invisibly, surrounding the child and those who had suffered alongside it, wrapping them in peace and divine protection. Even now, some hearts were still struggling. Some felt guilt so deep that tears came without warning. Others feared that past mistakes could never be forgiven. And I say to them, as I say to you, my child, do not let the weight of yesterday dim the brightness of today. My mercy is boundless. My love is infinite. Every tear shed in regret is met with a hand reaching out, offering comfort, offering forgiveness, offering a new beginning. The family, once divided by secrets, now began to reconnect. Conversations flowed where silence had ruled. Eyes that once avoided each other now met in acknowledgement and understanding. The tension that had gripped homes for months, perhaps years, slowly lifted. My spirit moved quietly among them, guiding every word, every gesture, every thought. I reminded each heart that healing is a journey, not a moment. The baby's life, once hidden, became the central force drawing hearts back together, teaching the power of love, honesty, and divine purpose. My child, you may wonder why such secrets exist in the first place. Why do humans sometimes hide the truth, even when it is so precious? It is because fear blinds them. Fear whispers that hiding will protect them, that silence will shield them from consequences. But I, God, see beyond fear. I see the purity of the heart beneath mistakes. I see the light that can grow even in shadows. That is why I allowed the truth to unfold slowly, guiding each soul to see the consequences of secrecy, the pain it causes, and the power of redemption that comes from courage and honesty. The baby's impact went far beyond family or friends. The revelation touched communities, spreading quietly but powerfully. Those who heard of the truth felt the presence of divine intervention. They sensed that what was once hidden was now blessed. And in this unfolding, my child, you begin to see the vastness of my work. I do not act only in small, isolated moments. I orchestrate lives, hearts, and events in ways that are interconnected, in ways that bring healing to many, not just one. Every smile of this baby became a testimony. Every innocent gesture, every laugh, every tiny action spoke of protection and divine favor. Those who had doubted, who had feared, who had hidden, began to witness the miracle unfolding. And in their witnessing, they too were transformed. Some prayed quietly, some gave thanks aloud, some shed tears in awe. The baby, a small vessel of pure life, became a bridge, connecting hearts, mending relationships, restoring hope. I want you to know, my child, that your faith and presence in this journey are also part of the miracle. You have been a witness, a vessel, a heart willing to receive divine truth. By standing in the light and acknowledging the unfolding, you have aligned with my will. And because of that, blessings are being released over your life as well. The clarity you now hold, the understanding, the trust in divine timing, these are gifts. Hold on to them, nurture them, and allow them to grow. Even as the story unfolds, new beginnings are being sown. The baby's life, once shrouded in uncertainty, now walks on a path of purpose. Every challenge it may face in the future will be met with protection from me and guidance from angels. The family and all those connected will continue to heal, learning that every trial is an opportunity to grow closer to me. And you, my child, are reminded that divine timing and intervention are never late, even when human eyes cannot see the plan. You may see moments of doubt, small reminders of past fears or regrets. That is natural. But let your heart remember, I am the one who sees the beginning and the end. I am the one who orchestrates every detail. The baby, the family, the hearts once tangled in secrecy, all are under my care. Every step forward is guided. Every blessing is timed perfectly. Every life touched by this story carries a spark of divine light that will continue to grow. Now, my beloved, lift your eyes and your spirit. See beyond what the human heart fears, beyond what the eyes perceive. Witness the beauty of restoration. Witness the joy that follows truth. Witness the innocence that has been preserved. This baby, once hidden, now stands as proof that no shadow can survive in the light of God's love. And all those who were part of the struggle, whether through fear, secrecy, or guilt, are now offered a chance to walk forward in grace. Do not fear what was hidden, my child. Celebrate what is revealed. Rejoice in the freedom of hearts restored. Allow the energy of this story to fill your soul with hope. For even in the darkest moments, I am working, I am protecting, and I am revealing. Nothing is outside my care. Nothing escapes my sight. And no secret, no matter how deeply buried, can withstand the power of divine truth. So, breathe deeply, my beloved. Feel the love surrounding the child, the family, and yourself. Feel the restoration, the forgiveness, the healing flowing through every corner of this story. Know that you are part of this miracle, a witness to divine intervention, a participant in the unfolding of truth, a heart aligned with heaven's light. And remember always, what was hidden is now revealed, what was feared is now blessed, and what was broken is now healed. The baby's life continues, radiant and protected, a living testament of my love and power. And you, my child, are reminded that no matter what shadows appear in your life, no matter what secrets or lies try to block the light, I am with you. I protect you. I guide you. I reveal truth and bless the innocent. Rejoice, my beloved, for everything that was hidden has now been redeemed, and a new season of peace, love, and divine purpose is beginning.